Wait, is it recording? Okay. What's up, YouTube? Sorry for the lag on my game. But today we gonna be playing Snow Shuffling Simulator on Roblox. As you can see, I have my account back from my other channel. I had to reset my password, but let's see how many we need 45. Gonna start shoveling. You know what? No, we need something more. No. We need something more, well. We about to do a reaction.
To avoid. Hey, wait. Why am I marrying for your story? Son, do you ever stop marrying?
Military teaching the best tour ever. Let's go and react to VoxBox. Let's react to VoxBox. Yay.
I love getting to be a translator between science and the arts.
We're reacting to VoxBox.
Suck. Ooh, what is this? A Rindell Frozen roleplay? Hello? Anybody here? Who the hell are you, lady? This girl just hopped in this Elsa costume.
Now, the first thing I gotta say about VoxBox, he is the funniest YouTuber you could ever watch. Like, when I wake up in the morning, VoxBox laugh. It's my room. Wait, no, not VoxBox. Not VoxBox's laugh. Okay, no. Let's react about why Saints Row fans care about Dex.
So a lot of people are confused why so many Saints Row fans are disappointed that the character Dex hasn't been in the game. Well, it's time for me to give you bitches a history lesson. In Saints Row 1, Dex was a lieutenant of the 3rd Street Saints and a main character in the story. He helps your character rise to power and defeat the Los Carnales.
It's not the Los Carnales, it's just the Carnales. Los means... fuck it. Like I was saying.
It's a beautiful relationship and it arouses me every time I see it, but it all comes to a tragic end when at the climax of the game, the boss explodes in a boat. Moments before this happens, we see Julius and Troy acting suspicious as fuck. And oh my god, Troy was an undercover cop this whole time. This is what Dex was foreshadowing throughout the whole story. Holy shit! And that's where we leave off with Saints Row 1. In Saints Row 2, the boss wakes up from a coma. As it turns out, Troy was abusing his police authority to keep the boss alive. Therefore, you could say Troy is one of the most important characters of the series.
Yeah.
But we never hear from him again after Saints Row 2, so forget about that. Anyway, the whole story of Saints Row 2 happens, and then we uncover exactly what caused that night to go down in Saints Row 1. Julius used you as a pawn, Dex knew the whole time Troy was a cop, and chose to betray the boss and let things go down while he got the fuck out of the game. You then find Dex's file with his phone number. He asked to meet you at the old church in Saints Row, but Julius shows up there instead. As it turns out, he works for Ultor, and the whole thing had been a massive setup to get rid of you both. So there's this whole sense of betrayal, revenge, and tragedy present in Saints Row 2. The boss is a mad dog psychopath, and he will fuck you up if you wrong him. And this whole moment on what caused the gang to decay really hits the boss straight on. So you killed Julius with no remorse, and that's that. But what about Dex? The score hasn't been settled yet. Well, we didn't get anything else until the DLC package Corporate Warfare. Not only did Dex betray the boss, but he's also portrayed as a massive dick. You really want to kill this guy. But what happens? Nothing. He gets away and nothing is resolved. But with this setup, many players thought that this was a hint at what to expect for Saints Row 3. And for 3 years, this is the moment that people thought of as it was the only loose end that led into the next chapter of the series. But guess what? Saints Row 3 comes out, and not only is it a complete redesign in terms of style and concept, but there's no mention of Dex at all. A lot of people were hoping to get one of those epic secret missions like we did with Julius, but we got nothing. The people who bought the DLC probably felt pissed off because not only did they buy a DLC that leaves them with a cliffhanger, but they don't get shit in return. It's a cliffhanger that's never been resolved. Now before we go any further, I'm going to address that leaked Saints Row 2 DLC video. There was going to be a Saints Row 2 DLC in which you killed Dex. It was never released, so it doesn't count. This should be common sense, but the head writer themselves went on record saying that it does not count. So Dex does not die here. So now enter Saints Row 4. They make a direct reference about Dex, but that's all we get. We get cock-teased. And then the world explodes, and we're left with the most anticlimactic ending to the Dex saga. If you were following the series since the beginning, this was the worst case scenario. A lot of people say, oh, get over it, he's dead now. That'd be like accepting Gat dying in the third. Either way you look at it, it's a cop-out. So to answer your question on why so many people care, it's because no, he wasn't a minor character. He was a main character that spawned a major plot hole that tried to get swept under the rug. But to tell you the truth, I don't know why so many people care. In Saints Row 2, it made so much sense because of how ruthless and crazy the boss was. He was a downright fucked up individual. In Saints Row 3 and 4, he's a light-hearted, easygoing psychopath. He let Matt Miller get away and join the Saints. Why the fuck would he still care about Dex? I don't know. So it all depends on your mentality towards the series. If you're an older fan who is actually involved in the story, then no fucking duh you want to see Dex again. But if you were in it for the Saints Row 3 mentality of let's just go crazy and fuck structure, then you probably don't give a shit. And if you don't give a shit, I hope this video helped you understand why some people do, and why supporting this style of unstructured writing is no good. So what does the future hold for Dex? I see 3 options. 1. He appears as an important character in How the Saints Save Christmas. 2. He makes a brief cameo in The Saints Save Christmas and has a quickly resolved ending. Or 3. They're not going to have him in the game and all the references they made about him was a joke. Either way, the Dex saga has completely lost its momentum by now. Whatever option they go with, it's going to destroy the tale of revenge nature that Saints Row 2 left off with. I will admit that too many people, including myself, care about what happens to Dex. Most likely, we're going to be disappointed with the approach they take, but I'll just be happy if we can get some closure on the whole thing.
Okay, so in my opinion, I literally hated Dex. I mean, he said that Dex betrayed the boss, so, and I'm glad that the boss killed off Julius Cole in the first game. I actually played through the first game today. That was like my 15th time playing through the game. And I actually noticed that Julius didn't have a watch on, and that's what caused Saints Row 2. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this little kind of mashup thing. See you guys in the next video. Bye.